Alright, Year 10. So today we're going to look at some of the stuff from Unit 1 that we need to revise. You can ask me to do another video with some of the, if you don't know, some of the other stuff that come up in the revision. Okay, so make sure to ask me that. But let's look at 4 things today. Let's look at simple interest, compound interest, adding fractions, and ratios. So let's start off with simple interest. So I've created this formula here. Simple interest is the principal, so that's the amount of money we start with, P, times 0 point the rate. So the rate here is 5.5, so let's just change that to a decimal. That's 5.5. As a rate, though, you need it as out of 100%, so you need to divide it by 100, so it's 5.5% out of 100, and that gives an answer of 0.055. So that is our rate. That's how you convert that to a rate. And then 3 years, that's n, number of years, n for number of years. So simple interest in this case is, let's do it in green, the principal, 300, multiplied by 0 point the rate. That's what the 0 point the rate means. It's not technically correct, but hopefully it helps, because the other one used 1 point the rate. Times the number of years, so 3 years. Typing all that into your calculator, 300 multiplied by 0.055 multiplied by 3, that gives 49.5. Okay, so the simple interest is 49.5, so that's money, like $50. Alright. So that is just the interest. You'd have to add that back onto the 300 if they asked you for the total amount. Of course, the bank won't take the 300 off you, they'll also give you that back. For compound interest, slightly different, because each year the interest compounds. In other words, the interest from the end of one year gets added to the start of the next year, and then you get the interest on that as well. So it's the interest on the interest. In other words, interest squared or cubed, or to the power of the number of years. So in this case, the principal still is 300. So for compound interest, the principal is the same. I multiply by 1.0 the rate. Okay, so in the other one it was 0.55. This is 1.055. And then I put it to the power of the number of years. So instead of multiplying by 3, I put it to the power of 3, because it's compounding on top of each other. Once again, turn to the calculator. It's important that you write this in your workings, so we can, for any attempt marks. So 300 multiplied by 1.055 to the power of, to the power of 3. So you should, if you do this in calculator, get 352 point, money, so you round it to 2 decimal places, dollars. Okay, so that is the amount you would get at the end of the 3 years. Now this isn't just the interest. You'd have to take away the 300 to get the interest on its own. So the interest on its own is 52.27. That's the interest, and remember your principal was 300. Is the principal. Okay, so hopefully that helps. So remember, for compound interest, the 2 key things: do 1 point the rate, 1.0 the rate, and then do to the power. So it's compounded power. For simple interest, just multiply by 0 point the rate, and then multiply by the years. Okay, so there's the 2 differences between simple and compound. Let's move on to adding fractions. So you see in this particular example that we have got 2 mixed fractions. Now there's 2 ways of doing this. You add the mixed fractions separately, and then add the actual fractions, add the whole number separately, and then add the actual fractions, which is one method. So 1 plus 5 gives 6, and then separately you would add 3/4 plus 2/3, perhaps the easiest method. You can change them both to improper fractions,
So an example of that, 5 2/3 converts to, well, 3 times 5 gives 15, 15 plus 2 gives 17 over 3. So that's an improper, so conversion to improper. You can do that and then add, but I feel it's easier just to add the whole number separately to get 6, and then just add these two fractions. How do we add fractions? Well, you have to show your work for this, so you can't just put them into the calculator. You can check your answer in the calculator, we have to show your work. So we need a common denominator. The easiest thing to do for common denominators is multiply the two denominators we have, 4 and 3. So common denominator 4 and 3, you can pick 12. Done. Okay? So that's always going to work. And then if you do that method, you can do some cross multiply method. 3 times 3 gives 9, and 4 times 2 gives 8. And if you were to add those two, so it's the same sign. It works the same for subtraction. 9 plus 8 is 17 over 12. Right, so our current answer is 6 and 17/12. So I'll put the 6 there back with it. Now I know that you can't have an improper fraction with a whole number, so that would round to 7 and 5/12. So taking away 12/12 and giving it a whole number. So 7, 5/12. Yes, hopefully that helps. You have to show some working, so I'm sure you remember that. You probably did it for the first time with me in year 5 or 6. Last bit we're going to look at is the ratios of splitting a prize. So how do I split this as my prize? How do I split this prize in this ratio? Well, the ratio has, somebody's going to get 2 parts of the prize, someone's going to get 4 parts of the prize, and someone's going to get 5 parts of the prize. So how many parts are there in total in the prize? So 2 plus 4 is 6 plus 5. So there's 11 parts to this prize. So if I knew what one part of the prize was, I can just distribute it twice, 4 times, and 5 times. So 550 is the total prize. If I divide it into 11 parts, you can use your calculator for this, or whatever. So you get $50, and that's one part. Now if I want to get what 2 parts of that is, I just multiply by 2. 4 parts is multiplied by 4, and 5 parts is multiplied by 5, and I can do that. So 2 times 50 is 100, multiplied by 4 is 200, and then multiplied by 5 is 250. So I split up the prize into 3 parts by finding out the total number of parts and dividing first. That's the key. Okay, let me know if you have any other questions on Unit 1 when you go through the revision worksheets, and I might do another video on any other issues. Okay, good luck with it.